Hello, thanks for watching the video. So thought I'd go ahead and make a video on the Toyota Corolla oil change today. This is the VBT one. This is 2007 Corolla. It is the 1ZZ FE engine, and got our oil, got our filter. I'll show you a couple of different types of filters you can use, the numbers of them. We'll take a look at where the plug is at, and what size that is, and just basically the location of everything. So if you're interested in how to replace your oil, stay tuned for the video. As far as what oil that we're going to use on the Corolla, you can look at your filler cap and you can see that it says 5W30, and we're going to use the Pennzoil here. I get this at Home Depot. I have a card there, and so I just get the oil there. I've been using it for a long time, haven't had any trouble with it. I use the high mileage because this has over 100,000 miles on this car, and you know, with the high mileage, looks like it has some synthetic blend, so I'm sure it has more detergent to it for older engines to, you know, keep them cleaner. So I'm pretty happy with using this oil. Now there are other Pennzoil products here. You can use the basic here, and it shows you the advantages of using the higher grade up here, which would be the synthetic. Here's what we're using today. You can look at that if you're into Pennzoil motor oil. So you can see that this says API here. It said that on the filler cap as well. So you want to make sure that you're using something that has whatever the filler cap said. It said API, so this would be American Petroleum Institute, and the Institute has done tests on this motor oil to make sure that it's sufficient for vehicles, gasoline vehicles that is. And also there's going to be a marking right here to show that you know, this oil is good for this car. So make sure that you see that little symbol there on whatever oil that you do use. And if you have any doubts, make sure you do a little research on that. Like if you buy it from if you buy some oil from from like a convenience store or something, and it's got that brand, you want to make sure that it's going to have this marking and that it's been tested. You may even want to look at some reviews or something before you put it in your car. So let me show you how much we're going to be using. Alright, so I've got the manual here, the owner's manual, and we've got back here at the end of the manual we have engine lubrication, and we are looking at quarts here for how much we're going to be putting, and we're going to be using a filter change, and so it looks like we're going to be using 3.7 quarts of oil. Now I do have that 5-quart container that you saw there. Toyota genuine motor oil, and anyway, I'm not going to read all that, but the oil grade here, this is ILSAC, multi-grade engine oil is recommended. So we did see this, or I did see this on the container of the oil. I believe that stands for International Lubricant Standardization Approval Committee. At least I just looked it up before I made the video. So yeah, so another standard to go by, and we did see that on the back. Also with the 5W30, here's kind of what that will cover as far as temperature. Let's say Fahrenheit, so it's going to be below 20, well below 20 it looks like, and then above 100 degrees outdoor temperature. So let me show you what kind of oil filter we're going to use today. As far as the oil filters, first time I ever changed the oil in this car, I used, I believe, this number here, the YZZ-F2, and I think they changed that to the YZZ-N1 because that's what I've been using. I couldn't find this one after that first time. So yeah, this is something that I would get at AutoZone. Really pretty inexpensive from AutoZone. It is the Toyota brand, so a good filter to use. There it is right there. And today I'm going to go with the Fram Extra Guard. I'm not sure how many miles these are rated for. I know 5 at least, maybe 10. The Extra Guard is rated for 10,000. Of course, I'm not going to let it stay on there for 10,000 miles. I usually replace the filter at 5,000 when I do another oil change, 4,000 or 5,000 miles. Anyway, that's okay. Here's what is this? I've got another one right here. I didn't even know I had this one. This is an Extra Guard. What is this? This is a ultra synthetic. So that's something to consider. I haven't used this yet. I did buy this. I think I bought this at like a bargain hunt place, so or bin store. Haven't used this. I guess that's for synthetic. But I have used this before. So we're going to use this one again today. Let's get at it. So for getting underneath the car to do the oil change, you're probably going to need something to elevate the car. Now I do have some ramps, 2 ramps. Don't have them here at this location, so I'm going to use the setup that I have here. Matter of fact, this is what I've been using for most of the cars that I change oil on, and that is just the end of our driveway there. And I've just taken a bunch of bricks that I bought and just kind of graduated them to where they get a little bit higher as you go along. You know, I've got some kind of brick underneath those bricks, and so it's pretty sturdy, and it's been that way for years. So just kind of make sure that the wheels line up there. And if you can see that, I could probably get over a little bit more here, but yeah, I can climb under there, and I have quite a bit of room to work with. So I'm going to be using this wrench here, and the socket that we're going to be using is a 14 millimeter. Now the 14 millimeter is pretty standard for the oil plug on many of the Toyota cars that I've found. So that's pretty nice. So let me get the bucket, and then we'll go try to break the bolt. Alright, so I've got a t-shirt, and I've got a bucket here. So this bucket, you can get these at many big box stores, Walmart, places like that, or auto supply places will have them as well. And this bucket, as you can see, has a little screen here catching your plug so it doesn't fall down in there with the rest of the oil. We've got this cap here that we can remove if we want to put this in a container, say a gallon container, or we could put it back into the 5 gallon once we finish, if you have an extra one of these, and then you can take this and recycle it. And a lot of auto parts places will accept that for free. Just make sure that it's oil. I think they also take power steering, so you check with them, but I know they'll take oil in many instances, so that's something to do with your used oil. Okay, let's go ahead and get under there. Alright, here we are underneath the car. Here's our bucket. There is our oil pan right here. And this is on the passenger side of the car underneath. And then there is the bolt that we're going to be loosening, the oil plug. We're going to just take our wrench, put it on here. Now we're going to be turning that to the left. Alright, all I got to do is put it on if I can do that. Okay, so yeah, all right, turning it to the left. Okay, and then I will just get it to where I can turn it with my hand. Now I'm going to show you kind of what to expect once you get to that point where you're just using your hand so that you don't get oil all over you. So let me go ahead and get it to where I can loosen it with my hand, and I'll get right back. Okay, so now I've got it where I can just take my hand and loosen it. Now what I wanted to stress here is go ahead and loosen it all the way until you know, or confident anyway, that it's going to come right out. But hold it in place, keep it in place, and then all of a sudden let it go like that, and I didn't get a whole lot of oil on me by doing that. So we're just gonna let it drain. We may have to adjust this from time to time. And also, I'm doing this while the engine is warm, which is going to make it a little easier to work with. If it's really cold, then you may, oil may actually some oil may stay in there. So it thins it out basically if it's hot or warmer. So that's kind of the idea. All right, here is a look at the bolt, and you can see we have a washer here. So you should have a washer of some type. I've used these before too. I think they're like aluminum. I'm not sure what they are. I'm not even sure if they're metal, but you can buy these. You can use these as well. Make sure that you're getting them for size bolt. This is again 14 millimeter, and it should specify that before you buy them. Yeah, I don't really need one with this metal one. However, I did use both of these, so maybe I'll do that again. So I've got a new one here, so let's put that on there. Here we are now. We're going to put the plug back in. We just have a little bit of dripping here. I'm going to take my t-shirt and just wipe off where the bolt or the plug is going to go in at. And then we'll just take by hand, just put it in place, hand tighten it to stop the dripping. Okay, then I'll grab the wrench. Of course, we're doing this to the right now. Now we're going to want to just make sure that it's nice and snug. That washer's kind of crushed on there. And we're not going to over tighten it. Something about like that right there. Okay. Now what I'll do is I can once I get some oil in the crankcase, I will start it and make sure that there's no leaking around the bolt. We're also going to do that with the filter. So for now, let's go ahead and move on to the oil filter, which is right there, right next to the oil pan. And it's going to be too tight to remove with my hand. So when it comes to oil filters, there is a good reason to use the same filter, and that is for getting it off. For getting the oil filters off the Corolla, as you saw, they were not in the easiest place to get them off because they're right next to the pan. So I'm using a oil filter socket, and here's the one that I've been using to get the Toyota brand. It fits perfectly on there. So this is a generic socket. What I had to do was, when I bought this filter at the AutoZone, I made sure that I bought one of these that fit it. So I was actually at the store, had the attendant or myself, and just made sure that it's going to fit, and bought this. Now this is not a universal socket. For example, that is just going to fit that brand. Here's another one for the Fram that I bought today. That one that you just saw is a little too small for the Fram. So yeah, they make sure that they're a little different, each company. So yeah, that is a reason to just continue to use the same brand. I mean, if you already have a socket and it's easier to get them off, I would just keep doing that. Let me show you another way to remove the filters. So here's another method to remove the filters on the Corolla. Remember, they're pretty hard to get to because they're boxed in there right next to the oil pan. This is a tool here that I've used before. It's just a bar here. Now this is for a 3/4 inch socket to go over this and turn it. Or you can put a screwdriver in, I guess, and just use your hand to turn this. But first you have to put this strap over the filter and then just roll it. Let's see, to the left to loosen it. Once you get it snug, and you put this all the way up to the top near the block of the engine, and then you can just put your wrench in here and then just loosen it off and just turn it off. So this works pretty well also. The sockets are 3/8 for a 3/8, and this is for a 1/2 inch socket. All right, so there's the filter again. As you can see, it's boxed in. I don't want to remove this splash shield here. So I'm going to be using an attachment, or an extension, an extension here on my wrench. I got that connected to the socket, as you see there, and just going to put it over there. Push it on as far as I can, and then just turn it to the left, and you can see no problem whatsoever. All right, now at this point I'm going to go ahead and line my bucket up to catch any oil that's going to come out of the filter. Okay, another good reason to have the screen on the bucket, because this is going to come splashing off. All right, quite messy here today. Here's the one we just took off. We want to make sure the gasket is here and it's not left on the block of the engine. Also, we want to make sure that you can make sure, if you're not certain you got the right one, just make sure the gaskets are lining up, and they are, of course. Now we can bead this with a little bit of oil. I'm just using this oil. You can use oil from that you took off. Just kind of beat it like that. Now let's go underneath there and let's clean the surface that we're going to mount the filter onto, the block of the engine. Let's clean that with our rag. All right, just cleaning that up there. Let's grab our filter now. Just get it started. And we can just actually hand tighten this. Right there should be good. So we have our filter back in place. We're going to take the oil filler cap off here and start adding our new oil. We've got a funnel to put in place. Let's grab the 5-gallon container. So with our 5-quart, I might have said gallon earlier, but we have the quart side here with our window, and we have the liter side. We're going to go with 3 quarts, so we're going to take this all the way down to where it says 2, right there, and then we're going to start the engine and run it for about a minute, and we're going to check for any leaks, and then we will top it off at the 3.7 mark. So yeah, let's go ahead and just start adding the 3 quarts. All right, so I don't know if this is level, but because I'm holding it in the air here, but we're just below the 2 quart mark. So we've added 3 quart, a little over 3 quarts. Let's check the dipstick here. And you can see that we are just above the first hole on the dipstick. Just above the first hole on the dipstick, and so to get to the other hole would be a quart, so we'll be beyond if we put another quart in. So we're looking at about a 1/2 quart, 3/4 of a quart, and that'll give us our 3.7 quarts. At this time I'm going to go ahead, put the dipstick back in place, and just take this funnel out, and we're going to start the engine. And like I said earlier, we're going to check and make sure that there's no leaking under there. And then we'll go ahead and top it off with the rest of the oil that we need. I'll probably move the car because we are elevated here to get a more accurate reading. It would be nice to have it on level ground. So let's go ahead and start the car up. Now before the end of the video, I want to show you how we're going to remove this maintenance recommended light when we get completely finished with replacing the oil. All right, let's go under, see if we see any dripping at the filter. All right, looking good. Okay, so we're good. Let's go ahead and turn the car off, and then we'll top off the oil till we get to the top hole of the dipstick or close to it. All right, engine's turned off. We're on level ground now. We're going to go ahead and just put the rest of the oil in till we get to the top hole on the dipstick, or the 3.7 that we need in the crankcase. All right, so just a little more. We're almost halfway between the two holes. So you just keep gradually doing this till you get midway between the two or closer to the top, whatever you prefer to do. I kind of like to get right underneath the top. I don't have to necessarily get right at the top. Okay, so we're about 3/4 of the way there. I just a touch more, and then I'm going to leave that. All right. And we'll check it one more time here. I'm comfortable with where it's at, actually. Let's make sure we know where it is. Should be right below the top. And maybe you can see that. It is right below. Anyway, trust me, it is. So that's about 3.7 quarts. Now let's turn off that engine or that maintenance required light. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the key in. I'm going to turn it to the on position. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand while it's off, and I'm just going to hold the button with one hand. With the other hand, I'm going to put the key in and turn it to the on position, and then it's going to illuminate, and then you should see little dashes go across the odometer reading, and it'll clear itself out. And when it does that, the maintenance required light should be off. So don't think I'm going to be able to do that because I can't hold the camera and do that at the same time. So I'm going to try to set you up just for the odometer reading so you can see it clearing out. Let's see if that's All right, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and hold it. Can you see that? Let me see. Okay, so I got it pushed. Here goes the key. All right, so it's cleared out. I don't know if you can see that. My thumb was in the way really, but yeah, maintenance required light is off. So yeah, very simple to do. Let me just go back over that real quick for you. So you turn the key in the off position. Just push the button, turn the key in the on position while you're holding the button while it's pushed, and then it should clear out here. Probably couldn't see that. Little dashes will go across for each number there until it's 0, and at that point the light will go off. So anyway, that is going to be it. Thank you for watching this video on doing an oil filter and oil replacement or change on this 2007 Camry. Very easy to do. Thank you for watching again. Until next time, have a nice day. Take care.